Hollywood's first openly gay actor.
Now hear that. First, he was the first. I mean, we're talking before Neil Patrick Harris and many others. He was the first.
And honey, there's many others. And he was the author of the notorious 70s book, The Happy Hustler.
Yes.
Which then was the male counterpart to the popular The Happy Hooker by Xavier Hollander.
Oh, and my gosh, buying that book, it brings back so many memories. I was a student at American University, Washington, D.C., and in the book, The Happy Hustler, was a nude fold-out of the author, Grant Tracy Saxon.
Steamy.
Yes.
Steamy.
But Grant Tracy Saxon didn't really write the book. It was Michael Kearns who kind of, whatever, it's very confusing, but we're going to let him tell the story. And yes, Michael Kearns is our guest. And his new tome is The Truth is Bad Enough, What Became of the Happy Hustler.
What happened to the Happy Hustler?
There he is! Oh my! Talk about steamy.
Oh my God! Oh darling.
Yeah. Hair. I need hair, water, makeup.
What?
And
light,
here is some
camera.
water for you.
Oh my God! I'm in bed with Dan and Kelly.
Yes!
Michael Kearns. Oh my God!
And let me tell
what
you,
a treat
I mean,
this
this is such a treat for me after, several years, many years ago, getting to Happy Hustler
4 or
and
5.
having wet dreams about this man.
Oh my God!
I have him in his bed. Yes.
Well, okay. Well, how's that for an intro? Hello.
That's one of the best I've had in ages.
Okay, for the people out there that may not be familiar with the Happy Hustler, this is the beginning of your acting career, and it was someone that came to you with this idea portraying Grant Tracy Saxon, who was an escort or
He was a hooker.
He was a male, but like men and women.
Yeah,
So you made
he was bi.
you took on this character.
But also let me interject here too. Now we're talking again. This guy is so many firsts in his life. He came out first as being a gay actor. Then he came out first with being HIV positive, and he was way before James Frey from that book A Little Million Pieces duped Oprah.
Right.
That's right.
This whole Happy Hustler was a hoax. Can you give us some background on that?
Okay, so what happened was I was living with someone who wrote, in response to The Happy Hooker, he wrote a book called The Happy Hustler in a weekend. In a weekend, he wrote this book. And he sold it to Warner Books, which was a part of Warner's, and Warner Paperback. And they said, after reading it, well, we have to have a face to go with this. So, what are we going to do? And he didn't want to use his face, and he said, Michael's an actor. He has zillions of photos around here, lying around everywhere in every corner of the house, so we could use one of those. So I thought, this is great. I'll make $250 selling my photo. So and first it was going to be a photo on the back cover only. The front was just going to have the Happy Hustler, blah, 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 blah. So this happens, and they say, well, maybe we should do some more photos of him. So they decide, well, we'll do a fold-out. Then someone calls. It gets in Publishers Weekly, I think it was, as the first time there was a male centerfold in a paperback book. Another first.
Time.
We're talking way before Playgirl.
Oh, yeah.
And Cosmopolitan, all that stuff.
Yeah. And so then someone comes up with the bright idea, well, he's an actor. Can't he do it? Somebody wants him on a talk show. This was a Pat Collins show, not the hypnotist. Pat Collins had a New York show. Do you remember her?
I think so.
She had a daily chat show. She was very blonde and pert and cute. Not as cute as you.
Oh.
But so they said, can he go on this show? And I was like, I was doing a play in Washington, D.C., in fact. And I said, I was like dying to be in front of a camera. You'd think I would do this if I... the things I could be doing, and here I am hiding under leopard skin blankets.
And have done.
In front of a camera.
Read the book.
Oh my God, this book is amazing.
Juicy.
Juicy.
Okay.
So anyway, so they say, okay, so why doesn't he go on this talk show? So I went on this talk show, and at that point, I did not really know the book inside and out. It was pretty sudden. It was like the next day or something. He'll go, and I said we had to write a scenario that was believable. So we said, well, Michael Kearns, this actor, wrote this book about his experiences, but he's shifted a little so that we could create this merging of Michael Kearns and Grant Tracy Saxon. So it made some sense to people. So I went on this talk show, and it was a big hit. And the publishers went berserk, and they said, well, he can do a tour. This was the day of the year of book tours when they would send you all over the country.
Sure.
They said, so we're going to get him on Phil Donahue. I don't know. These names now people won't even know.
No.
We're going to get him on Phil Donahue and
Tom Schneider.
and all the AM shows. Every city had an AM show. AM Chicago, AM Washington, D.C., AM Atlanta, AM. So I was on all these shows. And in the meantime, I'm kind of, because I was such an actor and so sort of like a methody actor, that I started becoming the happy hustler and kind of had some kind of psychosis, I guess, where I actually believed I kind of was this guy.
Yeah.
And then it didn't get, it got unpretty after a while. It was pretty
But I mean, this whole thing took off.
Audiences were going crazy. Women were going crazy.
In
asking
The gay
airports,
boys were going
the
crazy.
gay boys were going nuts.
Yeah, there's one part in the book where you someone asked, well, how do you get paid? And you said, by the inch.
That was on a talk show. They couldn't believe how, I was
You were
very
so
quick.
on.
Yeah, I was very quicker than I am now. But I still get paid by the inch.
And for 2 years,
It's just not as many inches. It's a lot cheaper.
I'll give you a discount. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
This went on for 2 years.
For 2 years. And then there was a subsequent book, actually, which didn't really do very well, because at that time, the relationship, did we mention that I was lovers with the person who wrote the book?
No.
By that time, the relationship was in shatters. My life was in shatters.
Well, you actually. The actor became the hustler. The actor became the fictional character in the Happy Hustler, where you started hustling,
Turning tricks.
and then drinking and drugging too. Or
Everything.
everything.
All of it.
So you became the character.
Yeah, and then, as I said then, I don't know if I said it in the book, but I said it many times, that I went from being the person who was on everybody's party list to being the person you did not invite to your party.
Okay.
So I went from Mr. Glamour Puss to has-been in probably about 18 months. It was a quick ascent and a quick descent.
Right.
And how did you deal with the descent?
Well, not well. Those free press tricks were not. They weren't Washington, D.C. senators, I'll tell you.
And a lot has happened to this man. That's why you have to read this book. I mean, there's so much. I mean, he came out, as I said, HIV positive. He's done a lot for the AIDS community. He developed STAGE, which is still going on today, which is an AIDS benefit. Is it for APLA? Is that what
It's been for many different, now
charities.
it's concentrated on APLA
And now
for
it's
several
in
years.
the 30th year or something. For 10 or 12 years, you did artists
Confronting AIDS.
That's right.
Artists confronting
ACA.
AIDS. I mean, this man has really been an activist, a human rights activist, and about less than 20 years ago, he adopted a 5-month-old baby, which is the love of his life, and her name is Catherine, Tia Catherine.
Right.
Which the other woman that was very, very special in his life was his grandmother, Catherine, and that's who Tia is named after.
Yeah, Tia rejected her birth, the blood family, and decided that the mother named her and then left her, abandoned her at the hospital. So why did she want the name of something that was given to her by this woman who abandoned her?
Right.
So she took it upon herself, I had nothing to do with it, to change her name to what I had given her middle name, which was Catherine.
Okay.
So it's pretty thrilling to me. And now she's doing very, very well.
And now she's a filmmaker.
Yes, she's a filmmaker, and she has a film coming up, and a short documentary. And so it is funny, all the hysteria that we were doing, it was sort of like my life. And then things, I had to rebuild myself. I had to recreate Michael Kearns. And what I did was, I did that through the theater. First, it was a lot of gay theater, and then very shortly thereafter came HIV and AIDS. And then I curved into the HIV AIDS theater expression, and I started writing and doing a lot of things. So it really, I think that guy, the happy hustler, I don't regret a minute of it. I mean, when I hear stories that you got that book, I've heard those stories. I get emails to this day, who people now who've gotten the book and read it, and they love the idea that it was a hoax, and they're accepting of that, and they know what I've done since. So it was I was part of that sort of zeitgeist of whatever was happening to gay men in that early 70s. I was just an exemplification of what a lot of gay men were doing, which was partying, acting silly and glamorous, and being out after having so many years of being suppressed and oppressed and all that. So that, I was a living example of that, and I did it a little harder and a little wilder.
I mean, this is kind of a cliche, but you were acting out.
I was acting out.
Right?
Yeah, that was
One
one of the titles of many that were considered was acting out. No, for my book, seriously.
And I'm so sorry I never kept that. I don't know what happened after all my moves and through the years.
It got
I somehow
just
misplaced.
wet and moist.
I think you're right.
No, you sold it at a garage sale.
Oh yeah, for $4 and a glass of Kool-Aid.
No, but you know what I love about the book is that it's so honest, it's so compassionate, and it's touching,
engaging, entertaining.
You really need to read it because it is Michael's story. But what I love is that you've taken whatever negatives were thrown at you, you turn them into a positive.
I tried to, including that. The book thing did turn on me in a way, or I turned on myself. I don't blame anyone for any of it. I did it. I was a willing participant. I had fun doing it. But then it like many people's lives, it turns on them. I mean, the partying and all the sex and all the, all that stuff. And then you wake up one day and you go, now what am I going to do? I mean, I'm 30. And I have to figure out my life. Then AIDS came along, and then you really had to figure out your life. Yeah. So I was slapped into a sense of reality. And I think that my reality is just as serious as this was outrageous and over the top.
I agree, yeah. And before I forget, I mean, this man has done so many wonderful acting gigs through the years. And what stands out in my mind right now is when he was on The Waltons. Now, some of you young people won't remember The Waltons.
The Waltons?
But I'm telling you, go on YouTube and type in Michael Kearns and The Waltons, and it's a beautiful scene. Yeah. It's a beautiful scene between you and John Boy Walton, Richard Thomas. It's wonderful.
And Richard Thomas was so generous, that day, because he knew it was my first big moment, and he made sure that my close-ups were done twice. He was an angel to me.
Oh,
he was
that's
so
good to know.
Because these other stars, some of them you barely even meet them, and you're doing a scene with them. Yeah. You barely even, and they barely make eye contact with you during the close-ups, or they leave for the close-ups. So he stayed with me, and he sort of coached me. Wow. He was amazing. I think of him often.
Have you seen him
since? I have never run into him. And he used to go to the bookstore up here because he lived up in Los Feliz. I don't think he does live in Los Feliz anymore.
Yeah.
But he has a really good reputation as being a sweet person.
I mean, this is not juicy enough. We're, on today's show, we're going to get a little more juice, okay? Because he doesn't mention everything, all right? So right here we have...
Oh, my God.
It says on page 99, after the taping...
Please open your books.
Mommy returned to her lackluster life in St. Louis, and I hung out in Chicago where I met a pop star on the brink of making it big. This gawky singer-pianist approached my table at Punciello's, a late-night theater hangout. Who was it?
Well, let's make it a little harder than that. Can we sing Mandy together? You came and you saw and you conquered. Well, that's what he did. He came and he saw and he conquered.
Oh
and
my God, I can't
I
believe
was Mandy.
I'm
Love it.
blushing. I can't
it.
believe
You
it.
didn't know that's who it was?
No,
People
you
think
know
it's
what?
Peter Allen. They think it's
yes,
Elton
yes.
John. Yeah.
I did it.
Well,
right
David
here at
Cassidy popped in my mind.
Oh,
even though
oh.
he's not
But at this
gay,
moment, it just kind of hit me before you said it. Yes.
Oh my
I love
gosh.
it.
Okay,
And of
we're not
course,
finished
No,
yet.
we got to talk about.
We're not finished. Hold on a minute.
Okay,
hold
go
on.
ahead. Dan's got it in order.
I have it right here now.
Okay.
Oh
Okay.
my word.
I would later have a private assignation with the notoriously well-hung hunk who was one of the first stars to take it all off for Playgirl. Who was it?
Rosie O'Donnell.
Yes! Yes!
Oh my God.
But you know, I think I know who this is. I
Okay.
think. George Maharis?
You got it right.
Oh,
A lot of people
Georgie.
think it's Bert.
Oh, Burt
because
Reynolds.
Bert was
Yeah,
right
yeah,
around
yeah.
that time frame.
But he was a new layout in Cosmopolitan.
That's right.
This was
right.
That's right.
Playgirl.
This was Playgirl.
That was
Right away,
quite
it
a
was
layout,
circa, whatever, that time frame.
Now we
Now
have
we've
one
got-
more. Hold
okay,
on.
Oh my God.
Okay.
I hope I can remember.
I had two memorable summertime sexual layouts.
Liaison.
Dangerous.
Encounters. One with a closeted Hollywood actor, twice my age, and movie star handsome, who gave me new meaning to being an apprentice. Who was it?
Oh, I don't know if I want to tell this one.
Give us the initials.
He's. Oh my God!
I can't
this
believe
is my worst
Michael
video
Kearns is
moment.
not saying anything. I can't believe
but
these
you
are
know, you
lost
have to give me
awards.
some points for
That's-
integrity.
That's true.
That's true.
because this
That's
person is
true.
alive,
Okay,
and
we'll give
I
you a point
really
of integrity.
love this person.
Then we'll leave it at
and
that.
I
That's-
blinded it on purpose. I'll tell you the minute the camera goes off.
Okay.
Yes!
Now, okay, then we can move very smoothly into Rock Hudson.
Move
was that a-
smoothly into rock. No. That would be a no.
If I remember
You may have
correctly,
moved smoothly
If
into
I remember
rock Hudson,
correctly-
but I didn't.
Oh my God. Okay. Well,
from the
no,
book, you were standing up
You were
with Rock. Was that
standing
not?
Oh
up
my
with
God!
rock.
Stand-up comedy.
in the bathhouses.
Yeah, and they tried to sue me once already. So if they come
So
after
it
you,
doesn't matter
It doesn't
now.
matter.
Too late.
It was this sort of show busy bath. It wasn't a gay bathhouse. It was called Brooks Baths. It's still there. It's across from
Where?
CBS on
right here.
Beverly.
Okay.
And
It's like a Russian, big Russian.
kind of has that feel.
I know. Yes.
And the guy who did the massage, he was great. His name was Bobby, and it was no messing around. It was a real massage. He would always say to me, "Oh, Rock was just here." Rock. I was like, oh, "So Rock was just here? Oh, you just missed Rock. Oh, Rock. And I'm like, "Oh, so one day I'll see Rock." So one day I go in and I open the steam room door, and there's
Wow.
Rock with
Wow.
just a towel on.
And
But
beautiful.
then, well,
Beautiful.
old.
Old.
But- older, but this is the towel. Okay, we're gonna have play act.
Okay, we're
now.
play act the towel. We got it. Okay.
Oh wait, I have this glass. I can use it. So, so here's the
So the glass.
the
Okay.
camera is me,
Okay,
and I'm watching.
And you, okay, the camera. Okay, you're
Yeah,
walking
and I'm
in.
watching. No, yeah, I
you're
sat by this time, and
Oh.
I'm watching, and I'm going,
And-
oh my God, it is a movie star. So
It was Rock Hudson.
it was. So I thought,
what a nice
God.
compliment.
well, yeah, it was.
No, it
so
was.
I thought to myself, God, I'll write about this someday. I'll get some lunches out of this.
I'm gonna be on Dan and Kelly with this one.
70 years from now.
Oh my God. So there he was.
So there he was, in the flesh, as it were.
Wow.
So
Were you nervous?
Intimidated?
Yeah.
not intimidated, and I don't think particularly nervous, excited at first. First. I remember very explicitly, it was the Monday after Easter, because he said to me, "How was your Easter?" And I said, "It was fine." And he said something like, "Oh, well, I ate too much." Now, he was a little heavy, but he was still handsome as hell, and he was very tall. I mean, most movie stars are not that tall. He was taller than I was, so he's very, very tall.
Wow.
So he then, after this, he then
after he had a glass of water.
He do you believe I did that?
Yes.
I'm shocking myself. So then he took a little excursion, and it was clear I was supposed to follow, that looking over your shoulder act. I was supposed to follow, and I did. And we wound up in this, don't ask, there was a bathroom with a bathroom inside that bathroom.
Okay.
It was almost as if it was designed to go there and fiddle. So we went in and we closed the inner place. I can't believe I'm telling this. And we proceeded to try to do something. It was not easy, 2 over 6 feet tall men in this.
Right.
Exactly.
It was like a cell. And then somewhere along the line, I just came to my senses, and I said, Rock Hudson has an estate somewhere. What the am I doing in a 3x2 room with him?
Right.
Yeah.
And what does this say for my self-esteem? And it wasn't particularly fun, or it was just sort of icky.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the story. Then,
Did he take you back to his estate?
no estate, I didn't get a hamburger out of it.
Well, what's the point?
Or I got a hot dog.
Well, he was.
Jumbo.
Bob.
That's a big rumor around. I've always heard before I came to Hollywood that he always had a big wiener.
Oh, no kidding.
With Milton Berle.
No
But
kidding.
anyway.
Yeah.
Really?
No, because
Seriously.
Milton Berle was known for that also.
Well, you know that.
I did not do it for Milton Berle.
Well, she did.
No, I didn't do Milton.
Well, now,
I
okay, the
didn't.
truth is bad enough. Okay,
Well, it was in a bathhouse. No.
He took you to a
the
little
thing
room.
is- well, first of all, Rock was being very secretive, so I mean, of course, he's going to keep it in that boundary.
Well,
line.
you know what? I never even thought of that until this minute. But that had to be a metaphor for his life, which is what I found.
Oh, yes.
I didn't even think of that until this minute.
Yeah.
I don't think I referenced it in the book. That's what was constrictive. Like, why are we in this
couldn't be
closet
anywhere
having
else.
sex?
Yeah.
No.
Now, what year are we talking?
Oh, we're talking very close to him getting sick. I think 83, and didn't he get sick in
85, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but there were no
No
I
signs.
can't, no signs
No.
at that point. He got sick quickly, and in those days, the weight just fell off, and and
Really quick.
I was then. I mean, the irony leads to irony. I was very sad about his death, and then as the first openly gay actor, the media had no one to talk to from that vantage point, because when Hudson came out, it was like the kid who goes to their parents and says, I have AIDS, and oh, by the way, I'm gay. It was the first time Hollywood had to deal with not only AIDS, but someone who's gay.
Right.
So they came to me,
It was shocking,
and I went on Nightline and these various, and of course I never, ever, ever until this book told the story. It's 25 or 30 years later. I never, ever, ever, ever even intimated that I had any intimacy with him. I just told the story of someone who I felt did not have a very happy life. Or at least he did not have a full life. I guess that's me kind
Because
of
he wasn't
judging.
who he. Well, no, because
No, he wasn't.
You have to be who you are. You found that out. You can't be Grant Tracy Saxon.
That's
You've
or
got to be
Rock
Michael
Hudson.
Kearns.
Yeah.
You got to Rock Hudson or Kelly. What's your last name?
I have no idea. At
know,
this moment, I have no
O'Hara.
idea.
Kelly Burrow, isn't it? Milton, you got married to Milton Berle once. Anyway, you know what? I'm having such a ball, but
know.
we have to go to sleep. Okay?
Okay,
Yeah, we have to go to sleep.
I'm going to get where I'm comfortable.
We want to thank our guest,
Thank you,
Michael
Michael.
Kearns.
That was so fast. I want to do it again. Bye. How much fun did I have?
Peek in next
This
week to
month.
see who'll be in bed with
Dad.
and Kelly.
Bye,
Ciao.
everybody.